Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Neremik. Welcome back to more of the Great Eastern Chronicles. New testimony, let's go. So, unfortunately, I have no idea why the poor man burned his wrist like that. When the waiter brought me steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please, do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick it up on it anyway. Okay, need to take a second to get into character here, but interesting testimony. It's leaning in a certain direction. So, alright, that most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Easy does it. I hope that's the last time I'll have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Oh, okay, the Y button. Still causing problems. Not at all, not at all. It's merely a delight to have you speak, my dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I'll be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has just happened here today. The Minister of Justice? May that irritating bully student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Thanks. Well, was that a prayer then? Well, you have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. Huh. I expect you've noticed this little bully of a student, as you've put it. Doesn't miss much. Get them! Get them, Asugi! Alright, well, I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? So definitely not a press-all. So we gotta be clever with this one. I mean, we haven't lost any lives yet, but here we go. Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Here we go. Getting into it immediately. Another little dialogue before we start dissecting this. Maybe. What I'm hoping is that Hosnoga will pick up on some stuff along with me, because he's definitely seeing, he's looking a little bit strange over there. So we raise our glasses in a toast. I'll go to the present screen immediately. Completely unrelated. But is there anything in here that can, input? No. So we need to press for a, yeah, I've got to press. Not this one, though. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshots. Something about not leaving a trace. I think something to do with the drinks they had is probably going to be relevant here. Without leaving a trace? If someone is shot, or strangled, or stabbed, or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body. Quite right, dear lady. And as our police forces thoroughly examine the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonoga? As I've said, I always aim for flawless investigation. There'll be physical traces with all those causes of death, that's true. But maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man. Oh. You're gonna have to tell everyone exactly how you think the Professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it? Oh no, perish the thought calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question. On my honor, I, Takasuchi Ouchi, will cut down any who dare cast such aspirations. A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. We need some evidence to back us up here. Yes, evidence. We need evidence. Alright, but of course this country's inferior investigative techniques. Alright, I feel if we press this, Hosonoga is going to bust in, which is what I want. Alright, inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Quite right, the Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident. Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. Hosonogi, you doing okay there? It doesn't even occur to your native detectives to try and preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand? I kill a blow. The lady is formidable as she is beautiful. Amazing! amazing! He is actually admitting our police force is shit! Perhaps Professor Prosecutor Ouchie is starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. You doing okay there, Hosonaga? What do you think, Rinosuke? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as far as I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean... I have to find a way. Alright, there must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma. What is it, Ryunosuke? There is one thing I noticed, something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean? About Miss Brett's? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her, Inspector Hosonaga. The detective? Yes, you seem to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant, if it was present, might present an opening maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can do to the man next to her. Alright then. What is Kazuma thinking? I'll find out soon enough, I guess, once I press Miss Brett on that last statement again. Okay, yeah, so as I predicted, Hosonaga does have a way to chip in. Yes. So we can skim this dialogue. Inferior, what do you mean by that? You investigate once, and that's the end of it, isn't that so? Bam. Oh, okay, Fortnite's finished downloading, wonderful. Right, exactly, here we are, this is it. So now what do we do? Let that animation play out, and... Right, yes, there it is again! The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. You're right, look at him, he's lost in his own thoughts. Alright, it's time to pursue the man and his train of thought. Sorry, pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Ryunosuke. It's all down to the witness marker. What marker? At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statements. But by moving the marker left and right with left and right, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with A. You can catch the person at just the right time. You might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand, take a good long look around. Alright then, so first I should move the marker across with left or right, then focus on the detective. And then pursue him with A and see what's on his mind. Here we go. Okay, so you're gonna babble out, but if we look to the right, we get to press him. Come on. You have to let that animation play out the every time. Here we go. Pursue. Excuse me. Ah! Oh, what's the meaning of this? Me and that voice actor sound completely different. Alright, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts, deeply. It looks like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had just said. If there's something you'd like to say, please, share it with the court. Objection! What is the meaning of this? It's a delightful Englishwoman's time to testify at the moment. If you can't find fault with her testimony, then let the cross-examination be over, immediately. Oh, is that how this works? Absolutely not. Huh? The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yeah, not to mention the fact he's intimately involved with the case. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? we've got him. Well, yes, if you don't mind, I would like to speak. The lady is right, our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain, which is why I, Satoho Sonoga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved with flawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean, I will have evidence lurking in my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief, I'm not ashamed of what I've done. A crime scene thief. Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. Is that... This is a bottle of carbonated water I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water, I don't care what anyone else says. Right, yes, there's some left in the bottle, I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world! The time is coming, I guarantee it! I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. Carbonated water the victim and Miss Brett shared on the day of the murder, it was on the victim's table. Miss Brett. Can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fervour. That was not him that time? Shameful. I have no idea whether the man is right. Let's see. If there's another way that his life can be taken without a trace. Oh, I think there is. And I think you know what it is too. What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there's one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Poison? On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order! 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 And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who possibly could have done it. Giselle Brett, it was you! This is outrageous to suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence. You rookie imbecile! You haven't considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now. Have you forgotten what we've only just signed in accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you forgotten the faintest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire damn treaty? This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime. What? The fact is that that woman is British makes no difference. We're here to determine the truth. If I may, I will silence you forever. This disgraceful attack on the... It's you who should be silenced. Of course. Dear lady. Where did that come from? She just snapped. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I have my most humble apologies. I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior. But no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. This bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not. Oh, you rat! Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And? What did you find, Inspector? I held a test for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We can find no trace of poison in any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the Chief Coroner himself. No! I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours. I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, Counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. This court wishes to apologise for the great inconveniences caused to Miss Pratt. Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for defence. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point? Kazuma. I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more. Well, if you excuse me now, I'm really believing. Yeah, the atmosphere's changed. It's you! Hello? Please wait. Who is she? What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Satomi Katoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Mikitoba? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package, wrapped in a furokoshiki cloth. To be continued. Ooh, things are heating up. Things are getting proper interesting. The music and the everything and the ooh. Okay, yes, I would very much like to see my current progress. We are continuing. Do not worry. Just being thorough. Okay, it's almost 3 PM. God damn. Also, sorry if the voices are all off today. I'm not sure why I feel slightly out of it. I have this time a COVID vaccine, hence why I'm playing a slightly less intense game to be on the ball with. I mean, it's intense in my voice, but I'm not losing my voice this time, so we're fine. We're fine. Well, I understand you are the Judicial Assistant of the Defense, but why is this an ingress into my courtroom? Ha! A Judicial Assistant, and a woman no less. The rules state the females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence I must hand over to the defense. Ha! You're too late, little girl. This trial's already been concluded. 5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more. But, Your Excellency! I am most grateful. Hey, this defense bench is getting quite crowded. Alright, so who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something written in English? It's Giselle Brett's research. The Englishwoman's. After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. Oh, yes, that's right, Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of Cura and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Cura, what's that? I've never heard that word before. Time's up! The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. There was too little time for me to read this in detail, but I've summarised what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful, thank you! Giselle's report has been entered into the court record. Goodbye then, and good luck. You've had long enough, Counsel. We cannot detain our English guests any longer. I ask the prosecution and defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but...
The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency.
Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know.
Your Excellency, the defense does have no evidence.
That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett?
Yes, Your Excellency.
If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence just a little while longer.
It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid... It's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline.
Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realised it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order.
I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention?
Well, I mean, there's
pretty much only one thing to present. If you fail here, you're stupid.
Miss Giselle Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yume University, doing research.
Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison.
What?
Poison? Where are you going with this, counsel? A toxin known as Cura, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads into instant death.
What? What complacence and nonsense? Cura, you say? I've never even heard of it.
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Cura before because of one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist.
Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify Cura.
Why? Because there is no test available that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison.
What?
Order! 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 Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, Cura has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To lace their arrows?
The report states it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep within the Amazonian jungle. And it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with Cura suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Trumpery! These aspirations are stupid! To start with, if the victim had been administered by some sort of so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming with writhing in pain. The other diners would have surely noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is the evidence that Cura was used. Explain yourself, counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they are in total agony, there will be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all his strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move.
That's hideous.
To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly Kira poison. Seems to fit the bill, doesn't it? And you're suggesting that this bottle, Council, actually contains this terrifying poison?
This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense!
If I may...
All these facts you think are so clever, but you must be taught some manners!
It's you who must be taught.
Of course! Dear lady!
So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest work and then announce the results as if you discovered them? I'm appalled, what a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? And really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Enough of this! I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules!
What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Bright.
May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please?
Well, yes, I don't see, why not?
Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys.
Sorry?
To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a far show comedy. You're the police games and these foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers!
Wait, what are you doing?
No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Goodness! Whatever is the matter? You are quite stunned. So, no cure-all. The bottle was clean, is that what you're saying? You're quite incredulous, little boy, but of course. That's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisively here in this grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Bright.
I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries.
Ah, yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you was given.
This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how did she? How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for an interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to be some poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she'd have keeled over and died. Come on, Ryunosuke, we have all the clues now. That bottle of water contains poison. The culprit did put cure poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. Aye, the defense refuses to change its position. You're serious?
Fool! Are you blind? There was no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw Miss Brett drinking the water from it. That's right, which rather complicates your arguments, I dare say. And I believe that complication can be explained. How exactly? I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have so far, right?
Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume the supposed poisoned water unscathed?
Well, if we were to look at the report super quick, it says, effects. Route of entry. The above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as inflicted by a blowpipe or dart. Which I think is pretty on the money.
Yes!
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation. No. After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Sasasu-san's notes.
I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the post in the section council. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle?
Special characteristics? Yeah. Just assume it hasn't been reworked? Yeah. We've been hearing a lot about this curare poison. And it's left me curious about something.
Oh, counsel?
Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of the arrows they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting.
So we've been led to believe, yes.
And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
Get to the point, please.
But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there will be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison.
Goodness gracious, counsel! No, that would be madness!
But I actually found the answers to that conundrum in this research paper right here. On the special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound.
Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense.
Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When the curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever.
What?
Miss Brett, you authored this research, you knew curare's special characteristics, and you knew that you can make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little rapscallion! Why has she got a swan on her head? I've just realised. Well, Ryunosuke, it turns out you're even a better a lawyer than I thought you'd be.
Really? Me?
A lawyer?
Objection! Oh, this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how it possibly... So, the Hill Brothers little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. And I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little one. It only makes you look silly.
What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw? As even your brain has managed to declare, curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric sucus. Oh yeah, well, of course. The fucking what now? So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? Ah! That's right.
Good gracious!
That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? Agree to disagree.
Order! Order in the court! Order!
The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they will be affected in the same way. Ah, are you trying to suggest...
Yes, this cure poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial.
That's right. Sure, even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. What is this? Getting a little bit excited here. I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's pretty intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. I see what you did there, localizers.
Objection!
I don't think so, Miss Giselle Bratz. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson isn't. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone be killed by the cure? Well, Your Excellency, it's quite elementary when you think about it a certain way.
Take that!
As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the Professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects of cure are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But... what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poison water?
Inside?
Yeah, like the wound you might have after a trip to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example.
Ah!
Oh! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day.
Ah!
So that's it. You use that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so puerile. Oh, what do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy, you'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may just have been tragically destroyed. No! What is it? What just happened? It's the Englishwoman. She smashed that bottle. And into the Supreme Court. What a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible. At once. You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was any poison in that bottle. Or not. You. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I assume, dear lady. That's right. And really, looking at this photograph, it's clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
Objection!
No, you killed the victim that day, using Kira. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke and Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor in his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her! Now, is she really gonna get away with it? The ways to destroy that evidence was obscene! And not that evidence, though. Ryunosuke! Yes? We've come this far, but now, you're the only one who can finish it. What do you mean? Well, for the vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend upon. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back now, try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every colour, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every colour. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of this same scene in my head, could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? There's something for sure. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on, man, let's swipe that smile off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence. Alright then, I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is... Well, I mean, if you miss that, you don't deserve to play the rest of the game. Right, Inspector Hosonoga, answer me this. Yes? What is it? Oh, he's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigation, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime? Like, for instance, the plate of the steak that you took to the victim's table that day? Wait a minute, what are you going with it? Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood. What? Oh really? And what of it? Obviously that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Ah! Yes. For blood to have made its onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor as you were. Giselle Brett! I beg your pardon. This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing?
Hold it!
king. This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean? Yes, I took the plates, in the interest of preserving the evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it.
You did what?
I took the steak you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the surgeon had been eating. I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's blood stain on Miss Brett's plate.
We've got to examine it now!
Inspector! The court wishes to examine the plate from the table's victim immediately.
Yes, sir! Oh my god, Hosanaga, my god, why are you not the chief of police? You are competent. You are actually competent in your job. You are on cloud 9. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it?
Of course there isn't.
Quickly, Inspector. The blood, man! Show the court!
Of course. Examine the place at your leisure. No. No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible! I know I saw it, I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say that you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. Ah. I couldn't agree more in the case of this disgrace to the Empire.
I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial.
Let's hope so. Let's pretend the sense to courtroom proceedings was painful to watch, but I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. Ha! This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused witness wishes to examine it again, then be my guest. Alright, meal Miss Brett ordered for lunch. Alright, was the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? This is it now. I've lost. Renosuke. It's not over yet. Not until the final gravel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. Alright, as the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way. No, it will be. I will find a problem with this steak. So let's examine. Can we do anything with the steak? Like, physically? Because I mean, it might look different to what is in the actual, photo. Alright. Huh? Alright, what in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin. And the hallmark is from the Hoei era, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hoei Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today there's been talk of a Hoei Koban. I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion in bullion. And I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means... Right.
I presume any further examination of the evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection?
That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? There's another clue, alright. And we found it. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding yet another clue. Another clue that will reveal a shocking truth. Objection! The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial.
I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled.
I see. As newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you were alluding. For where precisely on this plate of beefsteak is this new clue to be found? No. Here we go. Lift it up. And then... Oh, we get the dialogue again. Okay, okay. I see, I see. Right, no, I don't mean what it is. Yep, come on. Come on, Neremik, just speed through, maybe? Or did you say it was a Hobikobon? Yeah, I see. Well, why could I spam through this? I've seen this text all once before. Shameful. Shameful with you. Right. Heard the pearls before swine, but never heard of bullion in bullion. And I don't think you'll ever hear that again. It's extraordinary, though. This means... Yeah, it means... Well, as far as I'm aware, Dr. Wilson wasn't the one with the Koban.
Got it!
Good! Good gracious, that's... Koban? What on earth? Holy hero one at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat? What a ridiculous question, how should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life, I don't even know what it is, but I want no part in it. I fail to see how this is relevant to coin under the meat. That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction.
Objection!
Don't be absurd, we're supposed to believe that this is an accident that happened in the kitchen. A rare Hobikobon that just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak? If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll recoup my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right, it can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel. A rare Hobikobon just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now.
Objection!
By all means, that will just stop you. No one invited you anyway. Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is relevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing underneath that steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person who it can belong to. Alright, okay. Comes full circle. I bet you didn't see anything up like this one. Yeah, way back when. Had this guy on the stand. Korakuta. Obviously, it can only be the antique dealer and owner of Rasute, Kiryo Kurikuta-san. Kyuri? Isn't Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying he was up to something with his Koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, that Hoei Koban, my prized coin! Then this Hoei Koban, do you mean to tell me?
Objection!
No, please, why would Korakuta-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense!
Yes!
Which is why I'm asking to bring Korakuta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. Getting interesting. Getting very, very interesting. I can't believe we've come back around to that pair again. Don't worry, neither can I. But I have a hunch. A strong hunch. That if we chase down the real significance of this Koban, we'll find it's a key element in this case. But... Oh, we're not leaving that one. There's 4 people on the witness stand. Seriously? Seriously? You okay there, Mr. Nosa? What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Didn't you realise it's dinner time for my little baby Ido? When my son's belly is empty, he's faced another pack of wolves. Exploited by the police we were, like a miserable dog, forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom, myself, I became a ruined man in a trice. A worthless, withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this Rasute shop owner's existence. I don't like what you're doing with that knife.
Be that as it may, Mr. Korokuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you ever seen this Kobon?
What? That's it. That's the one. That's the very one. That's the very exact one, that is. The resplendent, splendiferous Holy treasure my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be.
As I thought.
Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool, put me out of my misery. Where? Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped?
Oh, I'm not sure if it was drops anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices.
Sandwiched? Soaking? Seriously?
Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose.
Somebody concealed my Hoei treasure because between a slab of meat and a metal plate. Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscientious thing.
I think we all know the answers to that one. Excuse me, can I say something?
Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosonoya.
I mentioned this earlier on in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case.
Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation.
Well, Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau.
Wicked crimes indeed.
We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent undercover, is it? Yes, I took one on-the-job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So, unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant too? The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid the Korokuta-san Koban is all too clear. But it's only going to become clear to you all next week. Yeah, I'm dying, so I'm going to wrap this one up here. You know, I think next time should be the last one. I would try and do this in one long stint and wrap it up, but I'm just not sure if there's how far to the end we are, so I'll err on the side of caution. But if you enjoyed, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, perhaps add a bunch. Sorry I wasn't exactly 100% on my game, but I still hope you enjoyed regardless. And with all that said, all that aside, I hope you've enjoyed, and thanks for watching, guys. My name's been Neremik, and peace out.